Hi, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. Today, I got the Alley Cat Allison with me. I got Chris from the future. He's in Australia. He's already had New Year's. He's already fucking partied out. It's a whole different life already. We'll catch up later, and then let's get your friend Rob.
It's Ganon.
Do you like anything except for the Bundys? Is that all you like? Is Star Tours and the Bundys?
Yeah. Yes. How do you think I ended up on this show? What do you think? At the same time, what do you think I saw? Like, what do you think? You think this is changing? I don't change. I never change. I want the Star Tours Disney Plus series. I need it.
I honestly don't think that's a horrible idea. If you wanted to,
a neat idea.
I mean, you could set it on the Star Cruiser. Just kidding. I kid. I'm not gonna talk about the Star Cruiser anymore.
But Star Cruiser is just a hand-me-down Star Tours.
Star Cruiser. Oh no, what'd I do? Sorry. But yeah. The I saw all these like clickbaity YouTube videos. They're like, Star Cruiser has been shelved. Has it been shelved? At the amount they're charging, they're fine. Hey, Omar's in the Dominican Republic. Happy New Year, Omar.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
It would be fun if someone would mod the Star Cruiser building into Blast Corps from the Nintendo 64, so I could just drive like a Tonka truck. There's be like, right now, Bob Iger's just coming back, and he's gonna take down the Star Cruiser. Slam into it, you know what I mean?
You have so much rage inside of you, don't you?
Yes, he does.
He does.
You see these ears? You think these ears bring happiness? I mean, this smile, it's not happy.
Yeah. So, Meg confirmed exactly what I suspected. Remember on that first episode just now? Jonathan Kimmel is the Tusken kid's dad. And Jimmy Kimmel's brother. He followed me on Twitter, but Jimmy. Remember, I asked him, "Is that Jimmy Kimmel's son?" I noticed the last name, and one time I went to Kimmel for the Last Jedi, and I didn't end up on the show, but Jimmy Kimmel talked to me about what I do for like, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe, and it was a funny conversation. I was like, "It's a weird world, Jimmy Kimmel," but it was nice. Here, let me throw this up on there. So this is Wesley Kimmel. And right here it says, I am Wesley Kimmel says, major gratitude post. This is what happens when Sarah Finn Casting calls to your agent at Kathy Bold that you've just booked a small recurring role in the Star Wars universe. A job you didn't know you auditioned for, but had been dreaming about for most of your young life. Sounds cliche, but the truth is every job, every audition even, opens doors, and you may not be able to see until they are in your rear view. Big or small project, big or small role, if you love what you do it for the love. This audition came from the same casting office that booked him for a tiny role in WandaVision. It was a script with no lines and a note that his face would be covered the entire time. Were we still interested? Wes wouldn't even discuss it. He was all in on everything that came from Sarah. And in the end, he was right. The experience was amazing. What a team. Rodriguez, Favreau, Filoni, and Morrison all treated him with such respect and kindness. From watching clips of Lawrence of Arabia in the director's tent, to learning how to take a stage punch from Tim, to perfecting his Tusken signing with an on-set age, sex, location. No, ASL. JSL. Sorry, I had to say it. They met in the chat room, guys. They met in the chat room. Every moment was full of new and exciting learning. It was the most physically challenging role Wes has ever played. And as his mom, it was hard at times to watch him work so hard, hour after hour, in such an involved and complicated costume. Please give TRPCIC all the awards. My God, her work was phenomenal. But Wes handled it with the pro he is. Suffice to say, the door kept opening from the ambitious, dedicated super fans, and so proud of them. It's been a hell of a year. Keep it a secret. So that says recurring role, and so it sounds like, I mean, it could be as minimal as we get to the second episode and we're back at the Tusken camp and they give each other 5, eat some chicken, and he leaves. I mean, it could just be that, but it does definitely sound like the kid has some space to take up in the future episode. So we may see these flashbacks going the whole entire series. You guys, what do you guys think? You guys think that seems likely that the flashbacks don't end? Do you think we ever get to present tense entirely, or do you think we're continually flashing back up until, like, let's say the last episode?
No, we'll always have flashbacks every episode, but I think the story will progress little by little each chapter.
Yeah, that's what my thought is.
Yeah.
Hey Meg, I missed you too. We need to hang out sometime.
Meg,
What do you think,
Meg
Rob?
was like, I cuss your head, Rob. I cuss your head.
Dude, Meg doesn't want to.
Do I think characters will come back and do things in the show? Yes.
Okay, no, but Meg isn't wed,
cool.
dude. Meg isn't wed. She doesn't want to fight you. I promise.
No,
She's-
I
she's-
like Meg. I actually subscribe and watch her show. What are you guys talking about?
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
yes, you got a good show.
Yeah, it is a good show.
It's good. I like it a
Yeah,
lot.
Meg doesn't tangent like me.
It would be cool though. All of a sudden, she's like, "Yeah." So then I was listening to Blink 182, and I started thinking.
That's the 2-hour episode. Comes out of nowhere. Wow.
The other night, I was watching Tom DeLonge UFO thing because I want to do a UFO show where we just break down Tom DeLonge stuff, just all of it. So I've been collecting it, and I know Meg is a fan, and but when I'm watching the videos, I always see Star Wars stuff behind Tom DeLonge, and so I'm always like, "Look, Meg, it's an ad hat. You probably call him
Tusken
AT."
Tusken Kid hasn't impressed nor annoyed me. I'm Tusken Kid neutral, right?
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm not like, this is really dumb, which I think would have happened in the prequel era. You know, I found that if anything came new from the Tusken Kid is that youngling is a common term in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and not specific to Jedi. So we just call kids younglings.
Yeah.
Because Boba calls him a youngling, and
Right.
Hey, what's up, little youngling? Like youngling's like wizard. It's
But
just
Han Solo
Star Wars.
does say, "Don't get cocky, kid." So kid's okay too.
Yeah.
It just makes him kind of a
Has
dork.
anyone else said kid other than Han though?
I don't know. Han says hell.
Kid might be the
Han-
FU to word, and you know what I mean? Yeah,
That's
I don't
possible.
know.
Yeah. He doesn't
He also uses hell, right? So
Yeah.
Han's a little different.
yeah, it says I'll see you in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, metal, all right. It's hell in Star Wars. Fuck yeah. That's when I was
He
a kid.
probably taught Chewbacca the Tarzan yell. You know,
He
it's
probably
not
listened to
really
Judas
Wookiee
Priest
battle
with
cry.
Chewbacca. Chewbacca likes
Yeah.
Judas Priest. You could tell. Chewbacca's definitely fucking has like a Judas Priest bandolier that he got from the Judas Priest 2000 Australian tour, for the record. But
I did rewatch the episode last night.
Oh, yeah?
The wifey hadn't seen it. Yeah.
what did
She,
what did she say? Yeah, what was her what was her vibe as a quote normie?
She didn't just she just thought it was all right. She just thought it wasn't the same Boba Fett she saw in Mando. She's like, how come he isn't just blowing people up like he did the last time she saw him? And I was like, that's her legitimate concern. And the funny part is she didn't realize she was doing this, is when they started playing the Boba theme with the acapella group, right?
Mhm.
Which I like the theme, but
Oompa
then when the
Loompa.
acapella comes in,
It's
I'm
Oompa Loompa
like,
group.
it's a little goofy. She just like started humming the Mando theme. Like,
Wouldn't it be cool though if
Insane.
like midway through these Jawas come up to him as he unites Tatooine and they're like bum 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 bum, and it turns out it's the Jawas that are singing that with that baritone, and they just follow around and like that's his.
That would be great.
That's his like.
That'd be so good, and I will not watch any more of it if that happens.
what did Flashdance call it? Like his gang. She's like, I didn't notice your. I can't remember what the word was that she used.
Her name is Flashdance.
Her name is Flashdance. I mean, they gave her one of those stupid fucking Star Wars names where it's like Bontar McDon Alistar 7 or some shit. I don't remember what it was. It was just a bunch of nonsense to my ears.
For 3 years, I used to go to Little Rings and go, "Yo, Goonies over there."
Yeah.
Little toy soldiers. You know what I mean? Can't take his eyes off Radio Flyer.
Of course,
that's how
Max would know because it's a kitty litter. She's a kitty. She's a kitty girl. That's why the kitty girl knows what it was called. Yeah,
Hey, Max.
yeah. Called it a litter, which I was just like, okay.
Well, litter. Yeah, so you carry someone on as a litter. So
yeah, it just when I hear that, I think of like an army of kittens following Boba Fett down Mos Espa streets.
I was actually a little surprised they referred to him as Damio.
Yeah, but you know what?
Well, the mayor is the Shogun. The mayor is the Shogun. Then like if he's a daimyo, if the mayor expects him to pay tribute, he's like, hey, look, you just run the land, I run the whole area. So there's a hierarchy there that it's a conflict of perception, possibly.
Mos Espa and its surrounding plains. The guy.
Kind of interesting.
This is what he does.
See how it pans out in that sense, because of, I mean, a shogun's a military leader, so it could be interesting. I said Daimyo is a provincial governor, so yeah.
Well,
Star Wars.
Let's
you know what I mean? Like, what's a youngling? What's a wizard? Wizard's not an explanation. It's Star Wars. Like, it's so weird. People get caught up on this. There is a hierarchy though, where the mayor sees himself above Boba, so there has to be some unspoken. It would be nice if he's like, "Hey, let's go to Espa and talk about this mayor," which I assume the big penis tower is the mayor's office, right?
Yeah,
probably
that's the largest. It's the strongest building.
Just predicting if it is, everyone's going to say, why doesn't he just take the fire spray and go over there and land on it and put a bomb and then fly away and let it blow up? I don't know, because it wouldn't be a story probably, but that's what.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the problem. Look, when you introduce a bulldozer and then you're like, bulldozer's going to be, he's going to be kindergarten cop now. Terminator's going to be kindergarten cop. There has to be like some reason. What's crazy though to me is it feels like the reason happened in his past. It didn't happen in the episode that led to him killing Bib Fortuna, Mm-hmm. So like that's what's weird is like there's just something that's missing, and what's missing is they figured it out after the fact, so we just have to kind of probably let it go. It's not killing the story. It's just you're like, all right, whatever. Like I've seen bigger stretches in Star Wars, right? Like for me, the biggest insult is when Owen Lars looks at Anakin and goes, I guess it makes his brothers. I'm like, well, this is just fucking dumb. Like, I'm gonna go get me some more red vines. Be back.
So Allison and let's get Allison and then Chris's like general vibes on the show. Like, where are they at with it after one episode?
I definitely need to sit down and watch the first episode again.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was a little lackluster in a lot of ways, but it didn't like make me lose interest. I just didn't like the way it. I guess I wanted more. Like I got more from the first episode of The Mandalorian than I did from the first episode of Book of Boba Fett, and I think I wanted something more like that. I thought it lingered a bit too much with the flashback scenes, where they could have done a bit better with it. Like I like the Tusken kid because he's on the not an annoying kid yet list that I want to see get eaten by the Sarlacc pit.
Takes the helmet off, wizard, and you're like, yeah.
Then I'll be like, yes, and push him into the Sarlacc pit and be great. But all in all, I'm interested in seeing where the show goes, and I'm pretty sure that it's just this. They're just building with this. I guess I just wanted more of a bang to begin with, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Chris? What was your? You had a couple of days to process it. I was a shitty friend. Was supposed to send Chris the invite on the night of the show, and I was sending so many invites, and they all weren't on Twitter, and I forgot to send you the invite. I didn't see it.
It's just not good enough, mate. It's just
I
not
know,
good enough.
man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good, mate.
I even got the invite and I couldn't go.
I know.
So.
I know.
I was in
I'm
the
just-
hospital.
yeah.
They-
I even got it. Yo, my dog was on the show, Chris.
Yeah, the dog was on the show.
Dog got the invite. You
I know, man.
His grandma was on the show at Dengar.
know? He sent it to Pablo Hidalgo. You know what I mean? So Pablo got it. He just didn't show up. But Pablo got
Everyone was
the
on but me.
invite.
By the way, Chris, I you know how we had our little exchange after you trolled us saying that you had footage of Dengar on the show, and then I sent you the Never Gonna Give You Up with Boba Fett
Yeah,
singing it
you
from
got
a
me back.
Fortnite.
You got me
Yeah,
back.
so at the very end of the last 5 minutes of one show, I played that, and they flagged the video and and like demonetized it and everything. I was like, it's in a video game. It's a video game, but
That's the worst, mate. That's
but
the worst.
yeah. So you win again. But anyways, what did you think about the episode?
Look, Jason, you personally know how long I've waited for this show, and
Mhm.
I've been nagging you and bothering you for about 8 months now. But
Hey man, does he have a rocket pack? Yeah, dude. He does. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I'm happy that Meg enjoyed it, but I was really disappointed by the episode, and I thought, after about a day or two, I would give it another watch, and I really, really didn't like the episode. But yeah, I'm sure.
What is it? What about it isn't clicking for you? Like what were you expecting to get or thinking you should get that you didn't?
Well, first of all, it was just way too short.
Yeah.
36 minutes. That's just, it should have been an hour at least. The first episode of season 2 of Mando was quite, I think, in the 50 minute mark, even more. But I just think he got his ass beat twice, and he's meant to be this, this powerful mob boss, and to get taken out by one of just the basic guards, which I think was from the nightclub owner.
So you think the assassins were sent from the nightclub?
Yeah, 100%.
Me too. That's my suspicion as well.
And then he
It was
got
too
beat up.
easy. It was too easy, right? He
Yeah.
just goes
He was
in there.
being mean to Flashdance. Look, but the Twilight says, the other Twilight, right? The mayor's stooge says another delegation will be soon. Like I
Yeah.
think that's what he was.
That's
alluding
just
to.
too
I don't
obvious.
think that. I think that scene was so weirdly edited, and the performances. It's not bad. It's just odd. The timing, right? It's like when we're all talking, we're a little out of sync sometimes, right? Like it felt like that, but they were in the same room.
Yeah.
And then another thing.
But you're right. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go on.
No,
I just felt that it was the mayor sending the assassins too. So
Okay. Well, that we'll soon find out. But another thing, like season 2 of Mando, episode 1, or chapter 9, whatever it was, with the Tuskens for most of the episode, and then again the start of the season with the Tuskens. They were cool, cool designs, cool new costumes and everything. It's a group that we haven't seen before, but I don't know, it just didn't really click with me.
Yeah, that I feel bad for you guys in the sense that I'm having the best time. I'm not exactly at Meg's where Meg is saying like, oh, your best thing since Revenge of the Sith. I'm not there, but I actually think I so far dig this the most of the TV stuff at the start for what it's worth. I mean, the only thing I think on TV that's in the same vicinity as season 2, episode 1, the episode where they with the Tuskens again. Maybe I just like Tuskens. I don't know, but where they take on the Great Dragon. It feels like its own little mini movie, and I love that. But I do think you're right about the length of the episode. I mean, we've all been there. Everyone's been waiting a long time for something. They see the length and they say, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was hoping for at least an hour, and it was like 38 minutes.
We'll play the first two. We'll play the first 2 episodes like they did with Hawkeye, and
Yeah,
but
that's also what I was hoping to do, is 2 episodes.
Yeah. I so I think that was, in terms of making a splash at the start, what we've waited like 40 years for this, and when it happened, it was like 30 minutes long. You know what I mean? Because those international credits fucking take up a good 5-6 minutes of that runtime on the thing, and it's
here's
like
all the translations, right? When no one's speaking for 25 minutes. Someone had to figure out in 7 languages he laughs.
Well, yeah, Eric Denton, our buddy, he's in the chat a lot. He texted me and he was like, I meant to text him back. Sorry, Eric. But he was like, it was like a silent film. He's all kind of cool in a way. You know what I mean? And it is one of those things where I've seen a lot of people say it's boring. And it's like, so when you get down to that no dialogue, I think I'm not saying one person is more sophisticated than another. Some people like really thrive on less dialogue in Star Wars, and other people like really need it. They're like, I need to know what you're thinking because I don't want to play with your ambiguity. And so you could definitely see that what it did, it seems to work really well for one kind of fan and completely not for another. And so obviously you can't please everybody, but I'm going to say that it does kind of in a weird way knock it down if I look at it in terms of like a cultural review, not just what works for Jason and Meg, for instance. You know what I mean? But I also being I think because of I'm such a prequel person, I think that it has a little air of extra for me than for like some of the cats who just came back out for episode 7 who didn't like the prequels and are still on board. You know, I think those are the people that are like, because like you open up with Camino, and I'm like, oh shit, Camino, sweet. But will I feel that way? No, it's true.
Water washing up against the wall of Camino, that was riveting.
It's more than member berries though, in the sense that it is nerd politics at the same time, because there was such a practical set. It's real, basically saying fuck George Lucas and the prequels. This is J.J. Abrams show. Well, and they were like doing that for so long that you knew you weren't going to get anything that connected the whole thing together how I want it to be. You know what I mean? And I love that. Like that's one of the things I like about Bad Batch. I've been picking on Bad Batch a little heavier than I mean to lately. But the thing I like about Bad Batch is that you have that through line to everything. Like right now, you can feel in Bad Batch the Clone Wars into the dark times or whatever. And
we were fair, Jason. We said that was the best part of that series. The parts we don't like is all this stuff where they're doing this weird thing where you think they learn a lesson, but the next episode they've forgotten everything they learned. Like, like a season of A-Team, but where the story is supposed to keep going. Like in A-Team, the story kind of resets, like a TV sitcom. But in the Bad Batch, they keep going. You're like, you just did that 4 times. like not 1 episode, not 2. We're episode 90. You just did it 5 times. It's so weird.
Yeah. It is like. And then all of a sudden, that show will have the internal logic of course, Omega did that. She learned that in episode 4 or something like that. And you're like, but you just had her not okay. But when Bubba said, I want a drink of water, I felt that and got very thirsty. I have this weird thing about underwater movies that makes me not enjoy underwater movies like Titanic, because when they have to hold their breath, I hold my breath. I don't know. It's really stupid, but it's
the
annoying.
Abyss, my friend. Let me tell you, the Abyss, when they actually go into the submarine, and that dude's having getting claustrophobic. I mean, they're really in a submerged submarine, with shit flying around everywhere. I'm like, I couldn't do it. I don't care how much money you're paying me.
No,
can't do it.
I'm not doing it. I did a VR thing on PS4 VR where you go down into this thing and it's like a shark that goes around you. I'm like, I never want to do this again. Jason just nailed why I love it so much. I'm a huge prequels fan, and Attack of the Clones was a big part of my childhood. So I fell in love with the moment I saw the flashbacks.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is you see that image of the water. It would be nice if there was something there where him drinking water is also, like water is life. He was born on a water planet. He's stranded on a, now he's like stranded or taking over a desert. I don't know. There's something
What if we went
metaphorically
like
there.
full balls in on it, and it's like it's him in the tank, and then it's him as a little embryo in the tube, being grown. We see little pre-birth Boba Fett.
It could be a Star Child moment. Like
Right.
a callback, right? Little Trumbull. Dr. Trumbull walks in.
I was just so hoping when he picked up the helmet that the head would fall out, but
And
that's the one thing I never got from Attack of the Clones. His dad's head was in the helmet, right? When he gets cut
if you
off,
watch the scene where it gets cut off, you can see its shadow flying off.
Oh, nice.
I made notes up for the show and then just threw them out at the last minute because my phone was out of reach. I don't have the Force and I'm lazy, so I was just like, nah.
You're not gonna Jay and Silent Bob it.
Yeah, but what I wanted to give credit to Meg for is on her breakdown of the video. I like that she mentioned this one moment that is, I think, important and sets up the tone of the show that has been massively overlooked, except for Meg and noticed it, is that when he comes out of the Michael Jackson's little hyperbolic chamber, I don't know what it's called. Somebody always corrects me on what that's actually called. And when he comes out of it, he says the nightmares or the dreams have returned. So he's having a thing with his like post-traumatic stress over all of these like years of this stuff of bounty hunting and traumas, and I'm gonna throw it out there and say that in the comic booky psychology, which is important to I think understand in these kind of things, there's a comic book psychology to it. It's not like real psychology, like somebody doesn't throw acid on your face and then now you're Two-Face. Like you just go, I got acid on my face and this sucks. But
throw one franchise under the bus to lift another, right?
No. I'm saying, but what I am saying is that I think Boba, the way that the comic book psychology works is that he has the trauma of his father getting his head cut off, and then he immediately runs directly into one thing after the next, and he never actually, probably in terms of the larger story, has a moment to relax, just chill out in a giant vagina for some time. And
or are we meant to get some sort of transference between him as a kid and Tusken kid? Like this is a fault of the writing. The writing, look, you can't. It's George.
We don't know yet.
There's a shadow. Hold on, but in this episode, all right. Yeah. This is your first episode. We got to talk about what they wrote. I'm talking about and so there's nothing there that explains this. Now you could say it's in there in the way that you go, well, there's a shadow in the head, and if you look, George put the shadow, so it's there. That's not clear story. That's not, because you vaguely throw something in there that kind of covers. It's not clear, and it's not a central point. It's there if you look for it, but that's always like the Lucas. If you look for it, if you just dig in the sand and you find the water, I mean, it will be. Yeah, but there's also a giant tub of water that's spilling over and shooting out, and they just beat the hell out of these old guys. Jason was saying that might be a ceremony. Well, it'd be nice if the storytelling made it clear that's exactly the point. What was the point of them looking at the dudes? Maybe we got to get past this. We got to dodge the dangers to get to the area to do my water collecting technique. It's just not clear, and what are you supposed to do with it? You can read into it like the prequels, but there's no reason. This is John. They've knocked it out for 2 seasons so far. So this is why I'm like, okay, either it needed to be an hour so it's clear, or if when we get to the next episode it isn't clear, I'm gonna at some point it's a broken record. I'll be like, well, I don't understand it, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like when on my first watch, my just assumption from it was the kid is trying to be a tough little guy, and he's also teaching them how to get water for them and water for themselves, and he is a slave, and this is one of the things that let's divorce ourselves from the real politics of the United States for a second, or the world maybe, but United States specifically in this case. Does Boba drop Slave 1 because he is enslaved by the Tuskens and he sees people enslaved and just is not a fan of slavery at that point? And then when he goes to take over Tatooine, is he going to be like, oh, slavery is not a thing here anymore? And in that makes him the hero of Tatooine. And on one hand, allows our anti-hero to be a little bit more heroic, but also to have friction with the coming, war. That because obviously, I'm going to think that mayor is probably pretty cool with slavery, judging by the fact that he's just essentially a warlord shogun, right?
Yeah.
It would have been something if that stormtrooper was one of him. Like if the helmet came off and he was seeing his father, like the helmet,
Yeah.
and he was
That
like,
would've been
we
cool.
were enslaved. Like there would have, that's what I'm saying. There's these themes. Maybe they're there.
Yeah.
They could be clearer. They could be a lot stronger, and I don't know. We don't know whether they will or won't. And what I'm afraid of doing is what I did 20 years ago. Is I inject way more than the director.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Stacy because I was like, yes, that was a mistake. She was a bitch.
And my tramp stamp.
Mm-hmm.
I regret it totally. Tribal tattoos. They never came.
It said Stacy in Old English.
I want to see that.
You should have done it. You should have done it.
But I look cool. When I clean the back in the shower. But yeah.
Well, somebody's gonna CGI that. Somebody's gonna have
You want to take the time to do that? I appreciate it because I know how much effort goes into that little bit of.
We're the Star Boys. Go on.
What'd you think of the music, Chris and Allison? Like, what'd you guys think of? I mean,
I really don't like the theme, man. I love the. As soon as Mando came out, I was like, did it. No, I was just like bumping to, dancing to it and everything. Not physically dancing, but in my head, just bopping like that. You know what I mean? But this theme, hopefully, it grows on me. But
I will be right back, you guys. Continue the conversation.
Yeah. I like the theme. I thought it was enjoyable. The Mando theme definitely pushed more of the classic spaghetti western feel, but this one was different enough.
Yeah, it's very different.
And I did like it. So music was fine. I liked the cues on that. So I'm also looking forward to the next episode. It just wasn't really what I wanted, I guess, from it in the first episode. I want to sit down and watch it again. I just haven't yet because I spent the entire day Thursday and Wednesday in the hospital, and yesterday I spent pretty much asleep the entire day. So I haven't had time.
You had to watch it 15 times, right? Like,
exactly.
Right? You're like, okay, all right. So what was okay? There had to be some moment where you're like, all right, this I like. There had to be something. So give me one thing where you're like, this was dope. I like this, right?
I actually liked how he basically got out of the Sarlacc pit. I thought that was kind of cool because it was just direct. He was just like, "Oh, the hell with this!" Just showed him like set the thing on fire, and the next thing he's crawling out, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that works." I did like the sequence that had Max Rebo, but I mean, it left me asking: did he break up with Sliced Noodle? I mean, what's the story there? So.
You think Max Rebo was just ejected from the sail barge? Woo! Or my theory, there's rockets built into the keyboards.
Exactly.
Right? So they can fly away.
Yeah.
Like I always
flew away.
Because I had to play with the toys when I was a kid, and I was like, I guess I'll do something with them,
I did like I like the brothel scene. Basically, I thought that was kind of cool how they had that set up there.
Yeah, what about that, Chris? Like, out of all the places Mando starts, he starts at the brothel. He walks right past the whole city, right?
Because he wants to get laid. That's the reason.
He needs some action. Yeah.
The crazy part is he goes, "No, we'll do our business here." I'm like, low on sets that day, maybe. I don't like. You got a whole set. Maybe go to the bar. Maybe
or a private room at the back.
When they have a private room or whatever. I don't know. I didn't look into it that far, but that did occur to me later. Not when I was watching it, but did occur to me later. What the hell was that?
You're right. My background's getting old. I just can't compete with.
Rob, I'm still paranoid how you used to give. The first time I came on the show, you gave my background like shit. Like I'm more anxious and nervous every time I come on because of this background. Yeah. So your
Bro, you
favorite-
always look like you're in detention, but right before you get called in, you called into the show, and I appreciate that. Like,
Dude, it's like 6:30 in the morning. Like I'm half asleep. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This hot dog costume was my 2021 finishing up the year resolution thing. I've had this under my bed since we started the show. I'm like, I'm gonna use that hot dog costume in something. Nothing ever happened. I never needed it. It's just been there, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna throw this hot dog costume away.
Turns out Stryker's first name is Nathan's. It's Nathan
I'm a hot
Stryker.
dog. But yeah. So, anyways,
So
I'm
yeah,
just a hot
Rob,
dog costume now.
Rob, you
I just
asked me
can't take
my,
this seriously
my
anymore.
highlight of the episode, right?
Yeah.
So are you guys familiar with Loden Greatstorm?
The what?
Are you guys familiar with Loden Greatstorm, the character?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he's a character from the High Republic, and he looks exactly like the green Twi'lek guy. So I was like, what is Loden Greatstorm doing in the show? But obviously it wasn't him. But yeah, I thought that was him for a second. That was my highlight of the episode.
You're a real fan.
Mhm.
That's more than me.
Look him
I've
up.
You wore
read some
green.
High Republic comics.
You wore green just to bring that up, right?
Yeah, look him up. Loden Greatstorm. It looks.
I'm gonna eat
exactly
myself.
It's just
Rob, you
the
got-
names
you got
sound like
replaced, right?
World of Warcraft names to me.
Yeah,
You know?
the
I
names
don't
are-
know. Like, but
yeah.
then so does Darklighter. Biggs Darklighter. Well, Biggs doesn't, but Darklighter, I could see that.
Oh, there is. Yeah, and then Din Djarin. Me and Jason hate that name. So
Is
Yeah,
it Dinjarin or is it Dinjarin? Like it
it's
rhymes.
in Jarin. It's Jarin. The D is silent, like the dick in
Is it
my
just
name.
jarring with you?
Dick. Jason the Dick is my name.
Like the dineros I make every time they use that name in the show. It's Generos, like Molly Gennaro. It's a Die Hard reference.
I see.
It's a deep cut, but I did it on purpose.
Yeah, I see. Let's see where this is going.
Yeah, when it comes to that first episode, it's like what's going to carry over and what isn't, and like what the fans' emphasis is on things. I'm curious to see how if they got it right. Did they accidentally put our eyes on things that aren't important, that don't pay out? Because that happens a lot. Like, and that's one of the mistakes that Star Wars creators set up for themselves, is they don't always know where the focus is gonna go and to what extent, and then they don't know how to deal with it, or by the time they do deal with it, the production delay is so long, people are like, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? And so I'm curious to like, for instance, I hope Flashdance has several episodes or plays a bigger role, that there's more to it. But like Flashdance, a lot of people are talking about Flashdance. They can't stop talking about Flashdance, and she may
The
not
one
be.
name I remember is Jennifer Beals. Isn't that weird? Like,
Jennifer Beals.
I didn't even. I just
Okay. So here's how I'm gonna remember it. Our buddy Dave Wills probably thinks she's hot. So Jennifer Beals on Dave Wills. Done. You're welcome, Dave.
One day she's gonna see you and she'll go Flashdance. She's gonna have the just go papa. Go papa. Oh damn! So remember my name now. Remember my name now.
she looks very pretty. Though.
Flashdance.
She's not ugly, even when she has huge lizard tentacle things. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, she's pretty in the role, but when people have lizard tails coming out of their heads, I'm not into it. If I was in Star Wars, I'd be like, you know what? You take Flashdance. Not that she would want me anyway, but you know what I mean. I'd be like, nah, I don't care.
Lopan says Star Wars wasn't made for you to be into it. You know,
Yeah.
The tentacles weren't there on their head, so you're into it. It's the race, man.
I'd be like, hey, can we like tie your things up like into like a bun, or maybe in the back?
Oh, that'd be great. Where they were like the towel thing, where she gets out the shower.
Like a fucking
I
turban?
love the shower towel. That's my thing, man. Like that's my thing. Like,
And
I love
a
the shower.
jewel,
Yeah.
and a jewel when it blinks, that's when you punch. Oh, sorry, that's Punch
Oh, and
Out.
she does a little boing, right? And she gives Boba some wishes and shit. Like, yeah. But he wishes for more of his dad's body, and it starts to grow out of the helmet, and we get like a little Jango running around. And he gets a little Jango.
Mark says one of my favorite moments of episode 1 was when the Jawa chumping Boba with the butt of his ion blaster. And
Yeah, it's
when you watch
great.
it with subtitles, it happens, and then it says something like they chuckle. Or something.
Yep. Yeah. Because I have to watch everything with subtitles. So yeah, I was amused by that.
Yeah, in my I got rid of I had 5.1 sound that I didn't really care for very much, and I was just like, you know what, this is a big hassle. Too many things don't use it right. So I'm down back to stereo in my front room.
Nice.
And but the sound mix on these things is so designed for that kind of stuff. I find the sound mix to be really annoying, kind of in general. So I'm like, what did Boba Fett just say? He's like, I rubbed up today, and I'm like, well, I don't know what he just said. I gotta turn this up or put subtitles on.
I have tinnitus in both ears, so I need it.
Yeah.
Subtitles help.
So is that like having?
Sorry.
Is that like if you cup your ears? Is that what it's like?
It's like a ringing in the ears.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because I went to a lot of concerts, never had a problem. Got MS.
Now it's a problem.
Another gift from MS.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah,
She has to go to concerts just to tune it out. Right?
she goes to concerts, which is like, now it's Yeah,
we need to turn up to 11.
I do have a lot of white noise in the background typically, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, I went to tons of them, but a friend had me go to see Soundgarden with them at Red Rocks. Nice. Go to the front row, Soundgarden at Red Rocks, man. Come on. I'm like, I'm down to hang out with you on a road trip. Let's do that. So I'm not a big Soundgarden fan, but he's like obsessed, and I was like, and it was a good show for what it's worth. But yeah, I couldn't hear for like 3 days. It was that bad. It was like it damaged my hearing. It was. And I had that ringing sound for like a good month after, and I'm like, oh, cool, metal. Not that it's metal, you know what I mean. But anyways,
metal.
Thoughts on the Mark Hamilton says thoughts on the Tusken tribe wearing black, being the tribe from the Vader comics that basically worships Vader and build that big Vader effigy.
Burning. Vader's like, it's not the compliment you think it is.
Yeah.
Remember, you guys ever watched Ted Lasso?
I haven't. No.
There's a scene in the first season where Ted gives this soccer player from Nigeria a little army man, and he gives him a whole anecdote, and it's meaningful. And then the soccer player goes, football player goes, "Can I give this back to you though? Because this doesn't have the same." Like, I don't have this same meaning for this that you do, love for this American soldier that you do. He's like, all right, imperialism, my bad. So when you make a burning effigy to Vader, he just like looks down at his own dick, like,
yeah. It is like I've had DMs from people going, hey, he wears his armor, like he has like armor under like how they did during the Clone Wars. You think he's like one of those Jedi who became a Tusken after and or something like that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I have no idea what to think about it. If I just looked at it as a Star Wars anthropologist, my take on it, with not knowing what their intent is with them, is that maybe they are a higher caste of the Tusken Raiders. Maybe that is like a Tusken chief. Those other, like the ones we saw in Attack of the Clones, maybe those are like sort of just like the lower rung kind of guys, and maybe this is like a dominant tribe. And I still think that the one that Boba fights is the mom, but also it does defy the convention of what we know from Attack of the Clones, that if the women are wearing like those imperial, like those royal guard Tusken Raider things, and the kids have different mask in that too, and so they are something, either something new or something higher up, I'm going to say, because obviously there's more design going on there. So in Star Wars, the more design you have, the higher you rank in terms of importance, I think.
Or Aura Singh.
Or Aura Singh, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually curious if we may see her, because that's one of the things I wanted to bring up was I was trying to
in Solo. Guess they
yeah,
could do a flashback of her.
that's where I'm going with this, is that it like you, because in the Clone Wars you have Boba post Attack of the Clones loses track of this of Slave One,
Yeah, she
or
has it.
yeah, Aura Singh has it, and then eventually though there's this moment where in the Clone Wars that is, I think, in a weird way for kids, it's like almost like a very traumatic moment for when like my kids watched it. They were like, she's gonna leave him, because what happens is she's trapped, and then he does like throws a bomb or something, gets her free, and then he gets nabbed, and then she's like, well, thanks, and she runs, and she like abandons him, and he's like, don't leave me, you know.
Yeah, 'cause he
And he
ends
gets
up in
and he gets like, and then that, but after that moment in the Clone Wars, Boba's a different dude. After that, he's very hard. After that, there's no more kid Boba after that moment. So that's sort of his wake up call in terms of you know, like in Solo, these people aren't your friends. Kind of that's his these people aren't your friends moment.
Yeah.
And so if they do any callbacks to any of the character progression from the Clone Wars stuff, that's where it would happen. And I'm going to say that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's involvement in that series means that it's not going to be like, oh, fuck that show, we're the new Star Wars. Like that, they're not doing that. So I think there is a chance for that moment to happen. Don't know if it will, or if it ends up being important to the narrative. But the opening sequence, looking at it from Attack of the Clones, looking at it again, I'm pretty sure they don't think they really reshot it. I think they just I think they used the original elements to make it.
Apart from the helmet.
Well, the scene on the scene in Genosha, the scene in the arena. I mean, that was right from Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And then when they showed the Camino scene, I mean, that was just a close up of one of the other scenes from it. So
yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah. Wait, was the exposition scene new, or was it just a reused shot from Attack of the Clones entirely?
That was a
The
reused
scene
shot.
was
Could
the
have been a
helmet
deleted scene too.
Okay. I don't know what anybody said.
One at a time. Both Chris, you go, then Alan.
The only new scene was the close-up shot of the helmet.
Yeah.
That's the only new scene,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only new scene.
Yeah, because Lucas does that fake. I think he does like a fake artificial zoom on it that he loves to do, where he just like is like, you know, using After Effects to make it go bigger. Yeah, that pull in instead of just pulling in. I don't know why.
Slow pull in is the prequel move. I'm just like always wants it just slightly moving. You know,
Daniel Logan, James Washington says Daniel Logan said the reflection scene was the only new thing.
It all came from the IMAX edition. If you were there, you would have seen it, but you weren't.
IMAX edition is shorter.
Oh, a lot shorter.
Hey, size matters not. You know,
they had that on the poster.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does matter when it's.
Mark Hamilton says,
prequel,
also, how does Boba take multiple blows to the head and body with the sharp end of the gaffy stick and not get ripped, punctured into shreds? It's that
I guess the skin's thicker. I don't know. It's a PG show. They don't want to have too much bloodshed.
Yeah,
PG show. You could burn them. Yeah, burn.
I'm just
look. You sympathize with people when they get the shit kicked out of them. I'm not against Boba getting the crap kicked out of him. It's just, it seemed like these are some really low end dudes. You know, for him, he's got a rocket pack. You know, he's got a ship that can blow people up. You know, I don't. You know, I don't mind the Gamoran guards not being there. I think they betrayed him if they did, but then there's something there, right? Like, but all right, we'll deal with that later.
Boba rockets out with all the coins in the helmet, and the coins start falling on the city, and they're like, "We love Boba Fett," and he's making it rain like Joker.
I was thinking like Jake the Mutter from Firefly, right? When he takes off with the cash. Legend of Jake the Mutter.
I want to go to the crappy town where I'm a hero.
Sorry, I do think that Boba will probably save the tribe, and they'll give him one of those sticks, because when we see him in Mando, he's wearing a stick. He has the stick, and he's wearing the black robes. So he's probably going to do something to earn that. But I also think we'll probably see Cobb Vanth in a flashback of some sort.
I think you actually bring up a really good point about the if there is story combined with the character, with the motivations, and like if any of it has any symbolic meaning whatsoever, it's that he is wearing the black Tusken Raider robes underneath his costume, and he keeps those on. And as he's going to rule Tatooine and attempting to take it over, he's keeping that on. And so it makes me, I still feel like there's going to be a moment where that Tusken relationship is going to pay off big in terms of, you know what I mean? When the shit comes down, he's going to be able to call on the Tuskens to come in and help take the mayor down, for instance.
Yeah.
If he needs to.
Agreed.
But Mark Hamilton says he hopes that 8D8 is going to feature heavily. I love that he's a dick. Yeah, he is a dick. And it's
favorite part of the show, Matt Berry. Yeah, and the voice is spot on, and I just like that design of that robots being impossibly thin. This is not a design we would come up with now. There'd always be this, you gotta weight it. Like, I've heard this from silhouettes. I'm like, no, sometimes like you come up with a good face and then just let the prop guy build some weird shit that when you put it on set, you're like, that looks weird, you know? But it's got those eyes. Awesome. Yeah, it's got those eyes that remind me of the Clash of the Titan owl, right? It's got those two beady like red eyes.
Yeah. There's even an exposition shot where he's not really important in it, but they have those eyes turned all the way up, man. They're like boom, and you can see them. They're shining, and that's actually one of the things about the show. Like I said, when I saw the Jawas in real life, when they were filming for one of the seasons of Mando, and I was like, dude, those eyes are so fucking bright. And when I saw 88's or 88's eyes shining, I was like, yeah, it's the same person probably. They love making those eyes really bright on that show. But it is fun, so I'm all about it. James asked, was the ninja sent by the mayor for not paying him? Yeah, and
that was my thought.
Well, no, see. I'm gonna meet everybody in the middle here. I think that Flashdance is in league with the mayor. So when Boba shows up, she's like, I'm not gonna let a fight happen here. I'm gonna pay him. I'm gonna tell the mayor, who just came in, and then he's gonna send the ninjas. That's how I think it probably played out, because she doesn't really care who it's probably the same thing to her, new boss, same as the old boss. But if she goes and she pays Boba, and the mayor finds out, he's gonna kill her. He's not gonna let her to start paying somebody else. You know what I mean? That's not gonna happen. So I want to.
And that's where the episode should have ended. Like, we need something there to give you the intrigue, the gangster crime. She has a conversation with him, and then you're like, oh, and you realize he's surrounded by some tricky stuff. Like, that's the thing, like the little hook, beyond just why is Boba doing stuff? Like, because they obviously are going to explain that over a course of a bunch of episodes. So making that clearer is one thing I just think would have helped with the whole show.
I had something to say about what Mark asked. Mark Hamilton asked, is that it? So in Star Wars, one of the things I've noticed is that like during the original George Lucas era of stuff, vibroblades, not a big fan of them. Didn't really want them to like be a thing. He wanted them to be straight up, this is an axe, this Gamorrean guard. Well, what they did was they made vibroblades. They're not blades that cut. They have like a magnetic field that will kill you, or that's like more blunt. It almost doesn't make sense. It's almost like you are simply using the axe for its aerodynamic heaviness, and then the vibro stuff hits you. And so we've seen that established in Mando and with the Gamorrean guards. And so I think when the Tuskens are hitting him, I think it's the same blade logic.
But when they hit him, it would be nice if they had some of that hand animated lightning that they had like in Jedi when Luke gets hit. And if they hold it on you and you really fucked up, you see like the skeleton, animated skeleton biting you. Like, it would be nice.
You see like a force field effect when
or if you sizzle
when the Tusken
like
hit,
when Luke sizzles.
Yeah.
Like when Luke you like smells like Skywalker.
Smells like Fritos.
Vader was like, someone told me the other day that the Vader no is now why he yells no in the Vader no in Jedi when he goes no is like supposed to be a call like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
no
it is.
tie-in, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, I don't. It doesn't.
No,
It was far better with it quiet, with him silent.
If it was a novel, it's super good. He's saying no more,
Right.
no more of this, Palpy, no more of this. But if that moment doesn't work for you, the callback isn't gonna magically.
Or
work
he
for you.
smelt his son burning, and he was like, no.
Have you guys ever been?
Oh no, I know what that smells like. It's like me.
I've been here.
Dog hair.
I talked about you in the beginning of the show. I don't know if you heard. Anyways, have you guys ever been in the room when someone was having a C-section?
No.
When they use this like
When I was born.
Yeah,
like
same.
cut thing. Burning flesh smells like Fritos. It grossed me out. I don't want to eat Fritos now. Fritos smell like burning flesh, in case you're wondering.
That's not what I've interpreted for reasons I'm not going to go into. But hey.
Yeah, it's not. I smell Fritos. Mark Hamilton says Ninja is credited as Nightwind Assassins. There is a trailer shot of Boba Fennec busting into the sanctuary looking pissed, with Flashdance looking concerned. Probably payback for the mugging. Good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Because I don't see them killing her, but they are gonna probably. I think that we're gonna see Boba appearing to be weak to the audience and to everyone around him, and then him having to go around and be like, so "I'm stern but fair." You know what I mean?
He's gonna kill the green dude for sure.
Rick Jones says, "Now I'm craving Fritos chili cheese."
Hey Rob. Can you hear me?
Rob,
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you believe in happy endings?
You're trying to cancel
No,
me.
I'm asking you a question. Because
Oh.
last time I spoke to you, there was the whole thing about me getting a Boba figure, and I spent like $100 on shipping. Remember that?
Okay. Yes. And I was horrified.
Yeah. Well, there's a happy ending involved. So
Okay.
I got my refund, $100, because they gave me the wrong figure, and I got to keep the figure. So that
Nice.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
All right. Capitalism wins for once. All right.
I like how his response was.
That's why I'm like, does that mean the same thing over there that it means over here?
I remember we were talking about it for like 10 minutes the last time I was with you. So I just remembered it now, and I thought I would share the good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Do you have it with you right now? Can you show it to us, or is it away?
Somewhere in another room.
He's like, I eBayed that for $100. So. I
Mark
charged
says-
them $100 to ship it. So I made $200.
Green Twilight dude wanted to give Boba a happy ending.
100%.
He was like, "Yes, I will, with much
Boba
grandeur."
likes green. That's why you got Gamoran guards around him. He likes green dudes. Like that's why he has green armor, and his dad didn't. He's into green.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I'm pretty excited for the next episode. And I think next episode is going to be pretty telling because, like I said, if you look at it, where essentially you're getting a two-parter for the ending, you're having 2 episodes per act if it was a film, equivalent of in terms of how the story breaks down. And essentially, usually if you don't like the first act of something, you don't actually like it. For the most part, if it doesn't pull you, if you're not full of intrigue by the first act of the thing, the second act doesn't pull you in, and all of a sudden now I love this show, or now I love this movie, and because it does feel like we are watching a movie though, and I mean I know there's like critiques that it feels like TV, but it does have I feel like it has the organization and the editing like breakdown of a movie. So I
This doesn't feel like a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Mhm.
and I've seen him make Robert Rodriguez Star Wars. That's my thing. This feels like, hey, we got some new directors, first time making Star Wars, we're doing a Boba thing. All right, cool. Robert Rodriguez, I'm not seeing it. You
Mhm.
know, I don't know what that is. If that's, off day, weird editing, luck of the draw. I don't know what that is.
I think it's the writing.
I do think we'll get a lot more action in chapter 2, though. A lot more action.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like when Mando comes out and he's like, choo choo, and he like front kicks a stormtrooper, like just stuff like this is like very. When people complain about Zack Snyder using slow motion, it feels like there was like
that's boring.
TV slow motion. Like you get the TV version of the Matrix like thing. It's like it's like okay, I get it. But like it's not as cinematic as you looked on set, perhaps. Like it's a little like all right, okay. It feels like when Al Bundy gets mad. He's
that was both awesome and too much simultaneously.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So how long was Boba in the pit for?
Good question. Like yeah. What do you think, Allison? Do you think he's in there for a long time?
I think he was in there for a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see much of the debris of the thing around, of the sail barge around. The Jawas did get attracted to it, so it could still have been stuff there. But I thought I had this feeling like he was in there for a little bit.
Yeah, because the Jawas. Yeah, we don't get any indication if the Jawas have already picked the sail barge apart, or if they're going to pick the sail. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the things that I considered. Is that like, yeah, Boba's attractive to go take the stuff off of him, sure, but that sail barge, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Overall, I would think, anyways. And yeah, I in terms of like believability and the fact that he crawls his way out, though, it makes me feel like he was in there for hours, if not days. Personally, is what I think, and he still has the armor on and everything like that. I mean, the stormtrooper though is the weird part of the whole thing, and I kind of like it though because it just implies more. It implies larger stories going on. It implies the lived-in universe where Jabba caught a stormtrooper and threw him in there, or the stormtrooper just fell in there. You know what I mean, or something.
Kind of curious to. I mean, the stormtrooper armor really wasn't degraded. Boba's armor, I could make excuses for because it's Beskar. It's supposed to be the super high quality armor. I also thought that armor was supposed to basically create a seal when they put the helmet on, and he needed to pull the breathing tube like from the stormtrooper. Now it's kind of like, isn't it already sealed? Oh, seal break maybe. I don't know. It struck me as a little weird. Like overall, I liked the scene. I just kind of like the idea if he was in there for a while, and then he suddenly kind of woke up and like some of his armor is just not functioning the way it should. And
one thing that like occurred to me that could have happened is Luke Skywalker shows up to Jabba's palace with the lightsaber, swinging that shit around. He's killing everybody. He's a fucking little psychopath, murdering hundreds of people on a sail barge. The word's going to get around. Maybe the Empire gets word that Jabba the Hutt's been attacked by Luke Skywalker and that Han Solo has been sprung free. Maybe the Empire goes in there right after that to try to find them, as they would, find that everybody's gone. It's already happened. And that Stormtrooper Larry was the one guy who fell in. And oops, we don't want to go in there. It could be like
he's gone.
Two things with that. One, this is kind of a problem with the storytelling. So, like, the reason he needs oxygen is because he's about to use his flamethrower, and flames consume oxygen. There's going to be nothing to breathe for however long. He doesn't know how deep he is underground. However long it's going to take to get to the surface, not going to have oxygen. So, you take a deep breath and hope you can hold your breath for 6 minutes with Tom Cruise. The problem is he doesn't check his own thing and realize, oh, my oxygen tank in the back was hit and it's busted. You know what I mean? I got enough to breathe, or shoot fire? Which do I do? He looks around, sees an old stormtrooper, or could have been a clone trooper, right? To really a degraded clone trooper
If it was
armor.
a
Maybe it's
clone
got some
trooper,
canister
that
still
would
in
be
there.
awesome.
And so, and then he could see that face and have that call. And then, like, there's a horrifying moment where he sees what he will, this will be me. I will be digested like fucking this dude. You know, like there's something there. And so that hence the trauma. And so, but that's just, I think of the movie Drive. Like, Drive is a movie where the lead character doesn't talk at all, but you have a transference where, like, when the dude's in the elevator and he has the hammer and he's gonna hit he does everything you think you would do in that moment. You see it all. He's putting it together the way you would put it together, and then it happens like it feels natural. This is a point where you're like, am I feeling what Bubba's feeling? Am I thinking? I don't know what he's thinking. You're imagining yourself in that moment. This is a storytelling problem. It's not ruins everything problem. It doesn't sell it enough. Doesn't make the human experience, clear enough. So then problem. So like that's the shame of it, really.
Yeah. No, it's like what was it? I was watching Die Hard with my uncle on Christmas Eve because that's a normal thing for me to watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve. We were watching it, and early on in the movie, the guy comes down and he like chainsaws out all of the telephone lines.
Okay.
And it's like, and my uncle's like, why is the other guy doing that stuff? And he just chainsaws them. It seems like it'd be a lot easier. I'm like, he's cutting the alarms. He's like, what?
Right.
Like the whole thing that the other guy's doing is he's finding what lines the alarms are on. He's making it so they don't send out. And then he's working quicker to try to make sure he cuts them all before his brother cuts out all the phone lines that triggers the alarms. He's like, oh, how do you know that? I know how alarms work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't explain it. It's just like, what the hell is this? And that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know why they wouldn't put a clone trooper in there? I like the idea, but you know why they wouldn't? They never made one. There isn't one, and they have that hundreds of stormtrooper costumes after all that stuff. So they're like, oh, we'll just use that instead of making Barada, because like realistically, like when he goes in there, he should see like, hey, it's me, Weequay, the action figure. It's me, Barada.
Someone in LA in the 501st has a clone trooper outfit that's willing to let it get destroyed on screen.
A clone trooper outfit without a problem.
You know, like
yeah.
Literally, Favreau.
That far
Filoni's like, look, man, they keep sending me pics of themselves, and
they rarely look.
They
good
got his helmets,
when they're built. Yeah, in my opinion,
they in Twi'lek shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
it would have worked though.
I mean, you could also just make one fairly quickly because most of that stuff's just like what was it? It's like a foam that they do, the vacuum foam thing or something for it. So they could have made a cheap set of looking armor, put a dummy into it, and then just made it degradable.
But because it's a stormtrooper, people start thinking, was there stormtroopers on it? You're taking out of that moment. Mm-hmm. And the other weird moment in the series is when you see Anchorhead. First thing my wife goes, is that Owen's place? I'm like, no, this is after Jedi. But it looks so much like Owen, the same shot. I get it's a callback, but it's a little like, like maybe not the same time of day, like maybe not the exact same like arrangement, maybe a specific, like a different structure, that's totally different, like would help sell it a little bit, because those callbacks end up being a little confusing.
Yeah, they built it exactly how it was. I mean, they
I hear
recreation. Yeah,
I think time of day is also the thing. When people think it looks flat, I'm like, time of day. That's one of those things where it's like you shoot at high noon at your peril. It can go either way sometimes.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I just realized something.
What's that?
If that leak was true, from a week or so ago, the Wookiee, the black Wookiee, is stated to beat the crap out of Boba. So fans, me included, are going to complain that he got beat up again, and because the leak says that the Wookiee's going to beat him nearly to death, and he's going to respect him or something, and he's going to not kill him. But that's, if that leak's true, then we've got some more problems coming.
Yeah.
But the real shame of that, though, Chris, is that you want a character. Okay, like John McClane gets the shit kicked out of him from the environment, from the situation, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Put shoes
versus the
on.
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
He tried.
blowing through it. That's the Sarlacc empathy moment, where if you can really show him getting messed up over a period of like, he gets this, but then it does that, and then he gets this. There's a thing in screenwriting where you go, okay, he gets in this Sarlacc pit, but he's got this. He can burn his way out, but if he does, he won't be able to breathe. When you see the thing, he gets the thing, he sees that, but then you realize like there's this escalating set of circumstances that also causes physical injury. Perfect. When it is just, let me go here and just beat the shit out of this guy who's supposed to be the #1 tough dude.
Correct.
Then it's like, all right, like it's a conflicting. I'm not the guy who I don't like OP characters where I'm just like, he's just OP because he's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But he looks in great shape now. Like, why he's still healing in that tank when I'm like, is it to get rid of this? Like, is there something internal? Like, we'll have to figure it out. But I do think the Wookiee pelt might play into that. If there is another Wookiee who shows up and like, hey man, you got my kid's pelt hanging on your wall.
Well, Jason saw him, so Jason saw the Wookiee.
Yeah, there is a Wookiee coming. That's a fact, Jack. Oh God, yeah, man. I was also wondering if he was gonna start wearing those again. Like now that they're giving him this gift, the braids, the because those are Wookiee scalps, right? Wasn't that what they were supposed to be originally? And
Trandoshan didn't need to speak English. I think the syncing in the mask animatronics is great, but the English is the problem. Like it could have been foreign, space languages.
Right. Yeah. So James says, I was hoping they were going to recreate the Sarlacc pit scene, as the rumors that Luke and Han are going to be in a chance are gone now. And maybe
I think Luke was busy already on Mando. So
yeah, I mean, when it comes down to is, I mean, this is gonna have flashbacks. Do the flashbacks have to go in any order?
No, they don't.
So
would make a big splash in your pilot series, though. Like the place to do is you got the deepfake guy, you got deepfake Solo, because indie budget, you got deepfake Luke. They could have been already. He's got that done. Putting it right at the front of your new Boba series, get you your member berries. Check that one off. You know what I mean? You get that out the way quickly, so you're not you're not holding on.
Flip it. I think you could definitely flip it. If at the end of the series, he's King Conan on the throne, he's done it, and then I don't want this to happen, but you said you could. Luke Skywalker then shows up, but then sees that he's done. Luke Skywalker could just get his lightsaber out and cut him up into chop suey right there, but he's not going to. He might say okay, and then they may have a moment of, I'm going to leave you alone and you leave me alone. I mean, they could do something to that equivalency with New Republic cats. Han Solo.
I think it'd be better if it was like Han Solo than Luke who would show up.
Right.
Because the animosity between Boba and Luke, I mean, I didn't really get that. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, he tried to kill him.
It's shallow. It was shallow.
I was thinking it'd be more like a Back to the Future 2 moment in the beginning, where you're seeing the Jabba fight, and it tells you can hear, because you need to hear the whole. Again, this thing assumes everyone remembers or has seen the footage from Jedi in the last.
It's fucking Return of the Jedi, dude.
You can hear 3PO go, and then they'll be slowly digested over 1,000 years.
Yeah,
classic line, bro. Classic line. Classic. Everybody knows it, dude.
But this is where you could have shot it from different angles, from different point of view. So you could see Boba really just saw a half-naked Twilight dude. He's like, "Oh shit, fucking!" That looks whoa, it's a weakness of his, green dude.
If you were Lucas and I was your producer, if I was your Rick McCollum, I'd be like, "Hey George, I'm gonna find the money for you to fire in the sky the fucking Sarlacc pit." There would have been dudes in there like, "Kill me!" It was like their guts coming out and shit like that. Like that's what I would have done. You know what I mean? And like that's what it should have been, or what it could have been like in there. Like I said, Brad is like, just put a bullet between my eyes. I don't want to live without a dog dick. Please, it's burned off. Just kill me now. And then Bubba's like, pew, you know, like that's what I would have done. The fucking shoe from Fire in the Sky would have been there, just a fucking sneaker. Why is it in there? But
the artist in me though sees things that most people don't. So like when I get to the
okay,
Tusken Village,
and you see things before they happen.
But I get to the Tusken Village and I'm like, you know, you got these little petrified wood pieces, you know, out in the desert. They got the Joshua trees, those dead trees. It'd be cool to have like bone-like structures, and then they built this encampment in some setting that makes it unique. Like there's these opportunities to create a new little location with the cool design, so that you're like, oh, that's dope. I haven't seen that part yet. Versus just white desert. Like we know you can do white desert, you know, like even when they show up in the sandstorm, how it has that off cream yellowish, you never go back to it. Like they're not like maybe they're in a specific sandy area, you know, where they're at, or there's something, or there's a sandstorm around it, so Boba can't leave because there's this crazy sandstorm thing around it or something. Like
I would like to
there's
see
just
waste.
Yeah.
And I know they got some amazing concept art because they play it at the end of the series. And I'm like, in the end credits, there's the Boba on a chair, and there's that little protocol droid head on the ground. You know, like I guess that's in the future bit, but you played it in this episode, which I imagine was concept art for this. It'd be great if he was like, killed the protocol droid when I killed Bib. Probably should have done that or something. You know, we'll get one. Let's go into Mos Espa and pick up a protocol droid so I can understand what the fuck people are saying.
I'm curious if they just have its head, like if it's just like a portable protocol droid, like just the head, and that's all.
Yeah, if he holds it up like a Horatio, you know, I would do that well. It'd be great if he said to Matt Berry droid, you know, where he was like, "Hey, can't you understand languages?" He's like, "No, I just greet people." Why do I have this droid around? Like
well, in the next episode, we may learn that when that Aqualish guy comes, Boba actually accepted an invite to a Walrus Man orgy. That could happen. He might have said yes. He doesn't know what that guy said.
That green dude.
Now I know.
This is now.
Now I know what Hasbro Pulse needs to do next. Walrus Man,
fleshlight, head, only head, only the head. Got to keep it extra weird.
Rob, though, like in all seriousness, though, I do wish that we saw a bit more, or we will see a bit more of like Tatooine's landscapes, something unique, because we got this show solely based on Tatooine, and then we got Kenobi that's going to be mostly on Tatooine. I'm sure he's going to go off world, but it's the majority of the show will be on Tatooine. I hope we do see something unique.
This is the opportunity for the art department to add little bits of like visual lore in places that's not the places where you go, oh, that's cool. You're not going to be taken out by it, you know?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was there. So.
George Lucas knows enough about like Kurosawa to know how to use weather, and he continually in the prequels used weather actually pretty effectively in a very good way in terms of like the visual language. And when we get to these live action Star Wars television shows, they don't use weather whatsoever. They actually like are afraid of it. Probably
a great example of this
is it a stagecraft? Is it a stagecraft limitation?
Well, then don't show weather and then not show it ever again because you're on stagecraft. That's what
I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to.
But that's their job. I know. There's. Can we not get a big word? Well, you have to figure it out. Like maybe you have to go outside sometime.
Also, Gundo and drop some rain on some people.
Yeah,
I know.
Sure.
Well, that in the last episode of Star Wars Visions, though, the very last one, which is extremely Kurosawa, where it even has the two crazy dudes from Hidden Fortress, when they get in that storm and one of them gets lost in the storm and he thinks his buddy died. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, like that's dope.
Well, because there is, I mean, in the West, in Westerns especially, there is always sort of this element of humans against nature, and in Star Wars, with it being essentially a frontier, that has been something that we have classically seen. We've seen Luke getting lost in the snowstorm, having to cut open a tauntaun to put him inside. We got storms coming, Annie, and just, you know what I mean? But brings them all together in that cozy little dinner scene with Jar Jar sticking his tongue out and shit. But
screenwriters don't think about this though all the time. I was on a comic book once that was written by a Hollywood screenwriter. pretty famous dude. And there was this battle scene in the comic where a group of dudes comes out, bad guys, and a group of good guys, and then they fight. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. But I was like, what if, like, I was like, throughout the episode, throughout the issue, I was like, all right, it hits sunset here, and then when they start talking, we'll change the background. So you'll see like the storm clouds, a couple panels, and then you'll get 1 drop of rain, and then 3 drops of rain, and then when they fight, it's raining, and then we can change, like, using the weather to control the. Like, this is, and it's not in the script. And when I did it, and I work with the colorist to make sure that that we were on the same page. Ryder was like, I never thought about it that way. Like, they're always thinking, they got a million things to juggle. The director and the art department really should be like, okay, how do we, what little things can we do to give you also a progression of time or a slightly separate scenario? When it is one flat thing, you're like, is this Bionic Man where we had our day, we had to go shoot our day? Because Star Wars, like, at this point, when you are spending $150 million on something, $190 million on a series, and you're like the best thing ever, Star Wars, we're expecting you to do the thing, do the, not the low, like this is like, they have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that ends up becoming a bigger thing between the films and these TV shows at this point is the environmental side of it. And I like what Mark is asking here. I had a Mando thought earlier. Armorer, a Maul loyalist, forged Din's armor. Explicitly tells Din to return Gregor to his kind, the Jedi. Is the armor trackable so that Din is being used to find the Jedi? Because
Mark needs to be on Story Group, because I don't think they're thinking that hard about it.
No, I don't think they're thinking that hard either. I would agree with that.
It's cool idea.
Well, there is a mystery behind the armor. There is a thing. There is like a mystery with it that they appear to even be like playing with the audience about whether she'll return and what's the significance and stuff like that. And she is alive. We know that. And she is a cult. But remember how the other day which makes me think of something else. Remember the other day we were talking about, like, was it a good idea to do this so close to Mandalorian and stuff like that, like 2 guys in the armor and shit like that? When my dad watched it, his first comment was, "I thought he couldn't take his helmet off." And I watched all of it. You know what I mean, though. But that was
average fan thinks these sorts of, like average fan thought Rogue One was Rey's mom. You know what I mean? Like,
or where is Rey? And that was the time when I was like, man, this. You remember he takes it off for the boy, and he's like, oh yeah, okay. But if you just don't really give a shit and you just watch these things like on a Sunday,
average fan,
they're very similar.
Thought Batman Begins was the prequel to Tim Burton's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too.
Yeah, Jace, do you think we'll see the armor in season 3?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I do. I think what they're being like 50 to 75 of these Mando showing up for this sequence. I not even sure if they're all going to be on the same
for
side.
the money. Ching, 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 ching. Yeah. So hard for the money. He's making armors for the Mando because they gotta.
I mean, with that in mind, I mean, it's like, his the old barber was rather good, but when you meet 75 other Mandos, they're going to have other barbers that you can go to. There's going to be other.
You sound like Star Wars Taliban. You get 75 Mandos if you murder half the galaxy.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
Yeah. If you sacrifice yourself with the cult, you get 75 Mandos.
But is it one big
totally
sequence, or is it 75 Mandos for an episode or 2 episodes? Like, we don't know that yet. So.
Well, there's I know that there's multiples of them in various episodes, but there is supposed to be all at once, like a big sequence of all of them at one time. Yeah. So like I said, I'm not sure if it's like they're like if he calls in, let's take Mandalore back, and then all of these guys come together, Mandos come together all at the same time, or if there's like a inner fighting, because I don't know what the other episodes entail. So
Yeah,
it makes it hard to.
Yeah.
It makes it
Also,
hard.
another artist thing I had when I was
Recurring
watching it the
characters.
second time,
Huh?
the Harryhausen monster. This is the artist thing I was doing, right? The Harryhausen monster. I was like, it would have been cool if it had a rattlesnake tail. Like
Yeah, I can
you
agree
know,
with
when
that.
you're in the
That
when
would've
you
been really
in the,
cool.
he's in the sand and he's like, because it makes the sound,
It does.
right?
Yeah.
You hear it, and it wouldn't add like, because that's the thing. It would, if it was a scorpion tail, it'd come back, stab Mando, which would be cool too, like right through my chest, you know. But or it gets the Rodian and rips him. But the snake tail, the rattlesnake tail, would have been a cool, like a cool.
That would have been really neat.
earthy.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because the sounds are there.
Yeah, the rattlesnake thing, the scorpion tail, no, because then it becomes about the stinger. But if it's just the rattlesnake thing, then yeah, then it totally works.
It also works with the like the concealed hunter thing, where the tail suddenly is like a warning to stay away, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you're poking.
Yeah,
and his mouth could have been more venomy. That way, when you see the fangs coming at the little kid, you know that it's a rattlesnake venom. You know, like So
Yeah.
that would have been cool. I'm gonna have to get going, guys. I'm still kind of feeling it from past few days.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. And when you feel like it, come back and we'll make you cringe a lot, and we'll have a good time.
I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Have a good New Year, and enjoy your New Year, Chris. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Happy New Year, Allison.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
All right. Now, what are we?
Chris and I have matching backgrounds.
Yeah, you and Chris are.
Jason
are
is
suburban.
like, Jason's literally at Pee Wee's Playhouse. You know?
I am my set was decorated by a 6-year-old girl, and that is not a lie.
That looks good though.
This was my Christmas present from Penny.
I know, I love it. I think the lights is like, it's very classic, like Star Wars, where they get like blinking lights going. You're like, what the girl? He's blinking lights for?
It reminds me of if there was like a trailer cut by somebody not working on Star Wars for Star Wars by Fox, and they're like, oh, put some twinkling stars in the back. Yeah, make them all kinds of different colors. That's pretty. but she thought they were that you can make them solid colors and stuff like that. Like you could make them like all red or all blue or whatever. No, these ones right here, it's like Dippin' Dots all day long over here.
Remember that scene in Christmas Vacation where he goes, "They're not twinkling, Clark." Yeah, I noticed. Thank you. Yours are twinkling all the time.
Oh, mine. Yeah, I'm a twinkle. But yeah, I'm more excited for the next episode after all of the questions that we've had, though, right? After all of the discussions, to see are those weaknesses, because like the weird thing about like critiquing it, and you've said, Rob, like 3-4 times now, it's like, you know, it's better to critique the whole series, you know what I mean, as opposed to each individually, and then you do it fairly by the week, get to take it apart based off of what they gave us and only what they gave us, and then with a little bit of promise, but what they gave us is what you are able to judge right now. And then they kind of get like this like free pass when in the next episode if it's rectified, they're like, well, yeah, you just need to be patient. But I don't like that, because that means, no, you guys, you can't be critical of anything that we do as we do it. And it's like, no, yeah, we can actually. We can. Yeah, exactly.
You know, they make it seem like you're a dick. Like, well, hold on. When you have to wait 5 minutes longer at the store, everyone's like, fuck, 5 minutes, you know? They're writing a check. Who writes a check? You know, but then they're like, you got to wait a whole nother week. Then you know what I'll do? I'll wait 2 weeks from now on. You know, the crazy part is when they tweet out shit like, don't spoil it. I'm like, you're making this into something. If it's not supposed to be something, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell people it's not a big deal. Just take it. It's coming out. It all will be revealed. You're gonna have a good time. You know, we're just doing it weekly for the algorithm, you know, to get you all chattering about it. And then simultaneously say, don't overthink it. Don't stare at it too much. But it's really important. But don't. I mean, it's like, all right, man.
Well,
You know, it feels like family when they go, "You idiot! We know why you an artist, but you gotta believe in yourself. Always believed in you. But you're stupid for you being an artist. You shouldn't think about it so hard. Why do you think about the art so hard? Why is everything gotta be so important? You really should believe passionately in what you. If you cared, you'd think about it. Like, wait, am I supposed to think about it or not think about it? What the cats up, catch up, cats up, catch up. It's conflicting.
Cats up. Who says cats up? Why is that a thing?
My favorite scene in The Simpsons when
Is that a
Mr. Burns
Simpsons
goes to the
gag?
store and he's like, cats up, cats up, cats up.
Yeah.
well, we kind of know what's going to happen in the next episode, though, don't we? I mean, they're going to bring the trader, the Red Ninja, to the boss, and then we kind of have an idea what's going to happen. I just hope there's a big reveal somewhere in the episode.
Yeah. Well, I would have to think I think the next episode's when we know if that leak is true or not, because that's when Kira has to release Cad Bane essentially, or whatever, or has to start getting involved at that point, or none of that is true. I was more convinced that if that leak was probably accurate before the show. After the show, now the fact that so many little like important things that could have been dropped weren't, and I didn't think it would be a big story, so I sat on Max Rebo and Figure and Dion being the band, because that was my kind of thing to know if somebody was lying or not if I talked to them, because it was just one of the weird rando things that I knew that was shot at that time. And so when it shows up, I was like, okay, cool. So that was real. And for me, it was nice. But also, like, I think Rob even mentioned it. He's like, that's they didn't even drop that. Like, they didn't drop any of the just rando fan things that you're like, hey, look, it's so-and-so.
Wookiee pelt probably would have been something,
Yeah. Trando with the Wookiee belt. Yeah.
Well, when I was talking about the Black Wookiee, you probably saw that concept, that creature art, T-shirt art, and then
that's where it felt more like someone who was in post or editing, or someone who saw some stuff or was told some stuff from someone who worked on things, or when Jason, someone gets a hold of a licensed style guide and they see like promotional art images, and then they just tell you that as if they'd seen actual episodes or have inside knowledge, and
that's where the Rancor link comes from, is
right.
from a T-shirt stuff and stuff. Yeah.
Mark Hamilton says what I started the whole Boba Fett review off, is that they made a big deal out of all the trailer footage only coming here. Read that. Yeah. It's a bit frustrating that they straight up. Okay, you want to do it, or
I'm looking over it. It's a bit frustrating that they straight up lied that all the trailer footage from the first 15 minutes of the episode that was objectively false. Bunch of trailer stuff to come.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
to talk about it's weird.
I'm curious if that's Robert Rodriguez knowing what plan A was, and since then they moved on to plan B and didn't fill him in, or he didn't pay attention when they were. I'm curious if it's that, or if it simply like J.J. Abrams on Star Trek when he invited all the press to the set to watch a fake scene being filmed. That was just hilariously stupid and fucked up. But like on this one right here, this doesn't necessarily put him in the same JJ camp where it's like, ooh, JJ might try to trick you, But so I'm curious if it's innocent or if it's nefarious, because it doesn't really make sense for it to be nefarious, for it to be like, you know what I mean, or for it to be like a big ruse.
No, I love that word nefarious. It should be a Star Wars planet, or nefarious. Nefarious would be a George Lucas Sith planet, right?
My name is Nef.
They're from Nefarious.
Yeah,
the moons of Nefarious. Like, oh shit, what's going on down there? Yes, that's where Darth Solani is from.
That's where Ellen Sleaze Pagano was born. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, it was. All in all, that whole thing plays weird now, though. Like, about why he said it. It's like that came out and was said after we were already getting the stuff, though. So it was already like well out. Yeah. But I only saw Robert Rodriguez comment on the one thing ever from maybe I missed it, but it was, hey, there's a cool new character in this spot, and it's Grinch or whatever her name was, Gulch, Flage, Madge, Midge. I don't remember what her name was, but anyways, but he comments on that. So at some point, he should have known that that wasn't playing out. But also, we also had those weird interviews where they were all the same interview, down to the Toothy Sarlacc and stuff. It's like a lot of weirdness in that.
My wife did say something last night that I thought was funny. We've been
Rob,
together since
can I give you a Toothy Sarlacc?
We've been. I wish. God, that would. Didn't she know she watched the show?
Yeah.
Since 2004, she's never mentioned this movie once. Right? In all the years, she goes, "Didn't he direct Dust Till Dawn?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He knows more monsters in action. Like, I'm like, wow, look at that. That's why I married you. Look at that. She knows the movie. She never watched it with me. That's for certain.
No, I really do think that I don't think, I'm not gonna say we have a sleepy Rodriguez at this point. I don't think that's what we have. I think it's about the fact that it's the first. I think we yeah. I think we're seeing a dude in recovery, so everything is kind of muted, and I think it may actually make what comes all the more vibrant. It may make it more dynamic and actually, like, that's just I thought we were gonna get one without my.
It would have been great when Boba Jango Bango, when because he bangs on my head, when Boba goes for the full right, if then it goes acid wash and we get the Kibbo right?
Yeah.
And he's like, acid wash rage.
Okay.
Shaky cam comes over. Oh my god! And he grabbed their hands across the desert floor, and he just Jason Voorhees motherfuckers, right?
If Robert Rodriguez has any balls at all, he's gonna have this new alien that looks like a nail, like a fucking nail head, right? And he's gonna grab
nail
him.
head.
Yeah, he's gonna throw him against the wall. He's gonna get the hammerhead. He's gonna turn on the jetpack. He's gonna fly the hammerhead into the nail and squash him in the wall. Maybe. Johnny Sacco says it feels like the next episode will meet Mayor Hammerhead. Then it ends on a cliffhanger with the big reveal. Then episode 3 was when it all starts to happen. Maybe.
Yeah, good old Johnny Sacco. Good old Johnny Sacco. I love
Johnny Sacco.
This is what Dan Aykroyd. Johnny Sacco and his bag of glass. I like I fucking love that name.
Yeah, I think Johnny and Chris both, I think, are on the same page there. I think that's kind of what it's going to be. I'm hoping that if there's more depth to it than just being that, but we will probably see that. My guess is mixed with maybe the resolution of the Tusken people to some extent, because I'm going to guess that if the spirit of Rodriguez's words were more or less accurate, in that and maybe there was an edit of everything that played out like he's thinking. Maybe there was an edit where he gets the slave one because he has to go get the slave one.
Yeah, well, we saw that in the trailer.
Yeah. We know that. We know it's coming. And that wasn't in the first episode, but it could have been in the first episode easily when we see it all sleepy time in there, and we see, you know what I mean, like when we're moving into it. So they could have there could have been a more linear edit of the episodes where that happened at one point and he got confused. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Who knows how long the show's been sitting in the canisters and done? We really don't know when they finished the post production. But that said, we have to see that. So, and I also think that we're going to see him leave the Tuskens, or because I mean, like what else could you do with the Tuskens? Is you can now in the second episode we have him living amongst the Tuskens, being maybe earning a place amongst them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Worst would be him learning the language. You know.
Yeah.
I fear that.
He's like. He has to do it in that grumble.
I fear it. I fear
know.
it so much.
Well, Mando knows the language, right? Mando.
Remember when Chewbacca spoke Wookiee?
No, but Mando was doing like
Oh, he was doing
ASL.
that?
He was doing
Yeah.
he was doing talking to him with his hands.
I thought he was saying
Yeah.
saying things too.
He was like, Chris, Mando figure, happy ending, Disney, please, $100. Bullshit.
I'm happy.
Rob, right? Angry guy, right? No likey any Star Wars, you know, ever.
That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, and hey,
great.
Happy New Year, Authentic. It says, and that's where he got his black tunic from. Yeah, is that he ends up like that black tunic is clearly the outfit of those Tuskens. And so if we do end up to speak about fake anthropology again, if we do end up with that being a higher caste of Tusken Raiders and stuff like that, and he has that on, then theoretically, whenever your standard Tusken Raider sees him with those robes, they're gonna know that's a made man in the Tusken culture, and do what he says and stuff like that. Because Mando does set up that those normal that like if we just saw this, we would think, oh, the Tuskens that Luke met were and Anakin met were just like that, and these ones just. But now we had Mando set up all those basic Tuskens getting eaten by the dragon and stuff. And so we know that this is either totally different or special. I'm guessing though, based off of the design, that's like the king of the Tuskens.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think they're taking the equivalent of the prince out for his training to become a man.
Well,
and
that's what I wanted to say to quote Dragon Quest 8.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the episode, I'm like, is the kid Charmels? Like, is this like the little spoiled kid who? I don't think he was doing a ceremony. I think he was like, I love water. You know, I'm going to take my 2 pets out and I'm going to get me all the water I want. You know what I mean? Because ain't no one watching Charmels. Charmels does what the fuck Charmels wants to do.
Yeah.
So, like, and if you could hear him, he'd have that, like, rich boy affect, right? Like, if you understood what he was saying, he's like, I'm the greatest Tusken kid ever. I killed the thing, got all the water. You know?
Better get over credit for that.
Well, and then another thing to also consider is the time, you know, when Boba is coming out of the Sarlacc, if it is immediately after Return of the Jedi, that kid, by the time we get to present tense, Mando and he takes over Jabba's palace. When Boba takes over Jabba's palace, that kid will likely be an adult at that time. You know what I mean? If it's about 5 years later, and it looks like he's about between 10 and 12 years old.
Yeah, about that.
Just based off of his size. So that puts him somewhere between 15 and 17-ish. And
if he ages like Owen and Baru, he'll look like Ricardo Montalban when he gets
well,
but they wear the wrap, so they're okay. All right.
Yeah.
Better
no, they
Owen
get off with Nicole Kidman's skin under there because it's all perfect.
It's like they raise water and they got no moisturizer. You know, poor people. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that there may be something in the story like where the king, for instance, dies or something like that, and then that boy becomes the king. But that's around the time he's like, well, it's time for me to go. I don't know. You would think that there would be something along those lines. There has to be a catalyst for him to leave the Tuskens and to go about his own way. And it is, like I said, it is an opportunity for them to do something mystical there, like with Tusken.
Really want to wash my balls.
Yeah,
you know?
I have sand in my asshole, and it really hurts.
Really, I want to take a shit not in a hole. You know, like so bad.
You go, Shan, the dreams are back. The ones about your sandy asshole.
Look, you know, in the military, the baby wipes are your best friend. I'm just letting you know. Like, you learn that quick. Like,
yeah. I did not have the experience. I wouldn't have made it.
Where's all my Wookiee pelts? Oh, damn it.
I would have been the fat dude in what do you call it? You know, with the gun in the bathroom after like day 3. That would have been me. Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name for a second. Yeah, I'm a private pile of shit. But
you know, it's supposed to be Anthony Michael Hall in the Joker role, the Matthew Modine.
Matthew Modine was perfect, but I could have seen that working.
It came down to money. He wanted more and didn't, and it was like that would have been a better. Matthew Modine's the one where I'm like, you know, it's fine. I know guys just like that. You played it actually like the kind of dude you met, but Anthony Michael Hall, I
thought he played. Yeah, I thought he. But when you remember the '80s sarcasm of Anthony Michael Hall, it's kind of weird. He kind of like fell off for a short time and came back, and Edward Scissorhands all fucking ripped, like beating the shit out of Edward Scissorhands and Johnny Depp. And then after that, he kind of.
You never saw Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be Good. I saw Johnny Be Good. Yeah, Johnny Be Good though felt like a whole lifetime apart from that for me for some reason. Maybe it wasn't. But
Chris,
in my childhood,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Johnny Be Good.
What are you two?
What are you guys on about?
What are you talking about? Triple X2? I know that one.
I just remembered renting Johnny Be Good and Elvira Mistress of the Dark in the same night one time. I was like, "Come on, this is gonna be a party."
Well, Elvira's great. That's great.
Oh yeah, Elvira's fantastic.
The puppet dinner, I love it. She's the one cameo that should have been in Addams Family. She should have been Morticia's sister cousin. I mean, the one person who should have been in the Addams Family movies. Elvira.
I want them to bring Elvira when they do the Sith witches. Make her one of the Night Sisters. I'd be up for that. She'd be a great Night Sister. Come on, Star Wars, put some Elvira in it. It's time. But well. Anybody have anything else to add to the conversation before we end this one? Before we let Chris get on with this 2022 because he's from the future? We good?
We're good.
We think we've done it all. Nothing will happen on New Year's Eve. I don't believe that.
Betty White passed, unfortunately.
Did she really?
Yep, she passed.
Oh.
I saw it.
I just saw her talking a few days ago about being 100 or something. Or whatever.
2021 was like, fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well, I always said the only golden girl for me was C-3PO, so you won't be in the. No, I'm kidding. Everybody loves Betty White. I mean, my son was literally floored when he found out C-3PO wasn't a lady. By the way. Which cracked me up. He thought C-3PO was a lady the whole time. I'm like, it took him like 9 movies to figure it out, but he eventually.
Archer's always sticking his dick in the shit. I get it. You know what I
mean? Rob, have we got that Kenobi trailer yet, or what? You said we're gonna get it soon.
Kenobi trailer, bro.
No, we're not getting a Kenobi trailer.
We ain't seeing that shit till May or June.
Last show we were on, he was saying, "Oh, we're gonna get it any time now," and I'm like, "No, we're not gonna get it until Boba's finished. We're gonna get it in like 6 months' time." Yeah, I'm being cheeky.
Yeah, my.
I never thought we were gonna.
No, he didn't. No, because we've always said we may get it. We may get something at Celebration. Otherwise, we get it the month before it comes out.
I was like fan math. I was saying, I said fan math says, because logically you have to do this to promote this, and any sane marketing department would know this, but they're not. Lucasfilm isn't saying they will drop it randomly on a Tuesday afternoon, like a week before. Okay, fine, I'm wrong. I don't care. Like I don't win any points for being right or wrong, Chris. You're right. I expected the whole fucking thing to leak by now. Well, I was pissed that they went and did that fucking teaser for the Kenobi thing at Disney Plus, and it's like that is like 30 seconds of a 15-minute making of thing. I don't get the point of that. That I don't get. That's the point, to drop the making of. And then Jason said, you can't because you got the Boba thing. Okay, then drop the making of the Boba. They never dropped the interviewing the director, the showrunner, the writers. We still haven't heard anyone talk about it unless it's in a random People article.
There's no press.
That'd been pretty.
There's no press for Boba. There's been no press, like cast interviews or anything, has there? I haven't seen any.
Do you want to talk about Lucasfilm?
Yeah,
frustrating.
They did some like stuff for TV Insider on YouTube, And like, yeah, it's been really tiny. Like EW, it didn't earn a cover
It's been
or anything like
weird.
that.
Been a weird promotional.
Yeah, it's in a weird place. I mean, I'm curious if it's lack of interest or if it's arrogance. You know what I mean? Is it lack of interest by Entertainment Weekly, for instance? Because like their stuff on it was once again just pretty shallow, but there are new people at EW, so that might be why. You know what I mean? That might be. And then Empire Magazine did its covers, but there was nothing of huge substance given to them. Not Empire's fault that it was weak. It was Lucasfilm what they would give. So, but yeah, I think they'll do something for Kenobi at Celebration. They may not even put it on the internet, and I'm not going to go there and get fucking COVID 2022 to fucking find out though. Fuck that shit. It ain't worth getting sick to hang out with a bunch of fucking stinky nerds to get something that's fucking falsely exclusive anyways. And if they do that, it'll probably leak out anyway. But yeah, so my take is that all of these trailers largely are going to come a month before, unless it's about investors or Celebration. Celebration becomes the big thing. I think that might disrupt the average flow of this stuff. Like Marvel doesn't have a yearly or semi-yearly convention that makes us go, oh well, that's what Marvel does.
That's what Comic-Con was for them. They had Hall H.
But they pulled out of there for the last before the pandemic. They stopped showing up. Yeah,
but that was where they were doing the big bring all the celebrities in. Put all the logos up.
I was curious if they were going to start to move towards their own equivalent of a Star Wars Celebration for Marvel before the pandemic, as they started to pull out of San Diego Comic-Con, because why give away what you can profit off of on your own?
You mean like DC?
Someone did it.
What
DC fandom? You mean like that?
Do you have access to? Sorry, go ahead.
Like DC fandom, is that what you're talking about, Jason? Like a Marvel equivalent to DC fandom?
Yeah, or more of Star Wars Celebration, but yeah, essentially a convention that lasts 3 days where they reveal all the Marvel stuff and talk about Marvel shit, and it's for Marvel people, and then they profit off of all of the proceeds of the stuff and don't have to give anything to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, for sure.
But what were you saying, Rob?
I sent you a link. Yeah, they
Where
took the footage of Jabba's sail barge on your Twitter. They took the footage of Jabba's sail barge and then put Max Rebo going whoop, flying out the explosion. It's so good. It's so good.
Do you want to just share it? We'll just watch it here.
Let me see. Yeah, let me see if I can. I gotta grab the screen. We'll put it over here.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna watch Boba again today, though. I have to say, I really, as much as I may talk it. Wait, that's me. Wrong guy. Where are you at? Oh, okay. So here it goes.
That should be no spoilers. Boba Fett. Oh shit. That's the kind of marketing. Like when I complain or say they should have this or that, they should have whatever. It's because Lucasfilm marketing I don't get them.
Yeah.
Like any sane, they don't start marketing. I'm not saying put out all your trailers a year in advance. Like I think Godzilla did that or some weird shit. But when you look at the marketing for Spider-Man Far From Home, they knew the right amount of put the trailer out, put in some footage where something's missing. You think that wasn't a mistake. They do all this stuff, at least with Star Wars, interview the people making it. I never want to hear from I generally don't want to hear from actors and stuff, but when it comes to Star Wars, I want to hear everyone talk about it, but actually have them talk about this is the setting, this is what we're thinking, there was all this stuff, dinner for 5 conversation, put that out. People will gobble the shit out of it, Yeah. What I fear is because this is all there's so much with the Tatooine stuff that when we get to the Kenobi thing, my wife's going to be like, this take place after the Boba, this tied in because of the Tatooine, even though clearly we all know it doesn't. When we're watching the Boba episode, thought that was Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru that were
Yeah.
charred up, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
Average
it's just...
people will have to do math to figure it out. They're like, where the fuck am I? No.
And they don't do a good job of like 23 years before or 5 minutes after. They should just say it. They just put it right there. 5 minutes after this takes place when, like, so, you know,
Well,
it's just,
it's
at
a
least
Star
we've
Wars,
gotten
man.
past a Star Wars story. It's not Book of Boba Fett, a Star Wars story. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're learning. But
And
man,
that was Disney. That was the Marvel people's idea, by the way. A Star Wars story, believe it or not. Yeah,
that was a bad idea. Like,
yeah, you have people who know how to do Marvel, who don't know how to do Star Wars, doing Star Wars, and telling the people who do Star Wars they don't know what they're doing, and the people who do Star Wars don't know what they're doing. It's just kind of like,
yeah, if it said Hawkeye and Avengers story, people would be banned.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, man, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, just call it Hawkeye. We don't need the Avengers story nonsense. Like,
yeah. But all right, everyone. I want to thank everybody who supported the show this last year since we started it and hanging out with us. It's been a good time, and we will do it next year because why the fuck not? And thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. And we'll be back on Monday at the same bat time on the same bat channel. Hi, I'm a cartoon depiction of Jason Ward. You can support the show on patreon.com/MakingStarWars or on YouTube by becoming a channel member. It hurts to be a cartoon. It's very painful, in fact. But know that every time this channel gains a supporter, a little piece of my soul leaves this toon universe and returns to Jason, making us whole again. This show will always be free, but it's never been free to create. If you think it deserves it, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you for the support. Please, help me die. Oh yeah, and Happy New Year, you filthy animals.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
This is where you get 5 minutes of extra footage because
Jennifer Beal